Hey, what's up? John Sonmez here from SimpleProgrammer.com. So, I got a question about how to switch from the oil and gas industry to IT/data analytics domain. And so, I'm gonna give you an answer. Obviously, this is not going to be a question that many of you are going to be facing, but you might be facing something similar to this, right? You might be in this situation where you're transitioning into programming or some other field, and you're not sure how to do this. So, I'm not gonna read the whole question here, but here's some background. She says here, I'm a 30-year-old female with 8 years working experience, including 6.5 years experience in the oil and gas industry, experience in the office and offshore. So she's saying that there's some downturn in the oil and gas industry, and so she wants to switch to another industry. And there's no jobs in the oil and gas industry. She's got skills, Lean Sigma 6, Green Belt, and she's been doing the Udacity Data Analyst Nano degree. And so she's basically studying, right? And she's got these skills. She wants to go into this new field. But how does she do it? How does she go from someone who's got oil and gas industry experience into going into a totally new field, becoming a software developer or computer programmer, a data analyst, right? Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. I'm going to kind of generalize this here because I think there's a real good opportunity here that a lot of people miss out on when they're trying to switch careers as a software developer. And I know I get a lot of emails from a lot of you that you want to become software developers, and so you're moving from one place to another. A lot of people from retail want to become software developers. A lot of people from a lot of different industries, and so they're trying to figure out, well, how do I make the switch? I've got all this experience, and it seems like a waste, and it's a difficult decision. But here's the thing. Here's what you're missing out on. That experience that you have, you can utilize. So what I would recommend in this case, okay, is that if you've got oil and gas industry experience, then look for companies that build software for the oil and gas industry. I know there's companies that do that. Okay, there's definitely. Look for companies that, even oil and gas companies, look for their software development groups, right? Because they have software developers. Okay, look for contractors that work with oil and gas companies that have software development teams, right? Basically, what you want to do is you want to say, and I'll tell you why. One of the most difficult things to hire for in the software development field is domain expertise, and it's one of the most valuable things, right? As I've worked as a software developer during my career, I found that one of the most difficult things on any project was to gain the domain knowledge, the domain expertise. What I mean by that is, what is going on? What is the field? What is the bigger picture? Because it's really hard to develop software if you don't understand, right? I worked for a company a while back that did tracking on gas cylinders, okay? And when I first started as a software developer on that team, I tried to just understand the code and the technology. But I tried to ignore what was going on in the business and how it worked with the gas cylinders and the scanning and the process, and not acquire the domain knowledge. And I struggled for a lot. And finally I had to sit down and say, look, John, look, suck it up. You need to learn the domain. What are they trying to do here? What are they trying to accomplish? Because I couldn't design good solutions, and I couldn't write software, and I couldn't solve the problems if I didn't understand the problems, right? I could only do it from an analytical writing the code or tweaking the code part, but I would make stupid mistakes because I didn't understand what they were actually trying to accomplish. So what I'm saying here is that you've got valuable experience, right? And I'm not just talking to you if the oil and gas industry, whatever it is, right? If you're a doctor, right? I know some doctors want to become software developers, or you've got medical experience, maybe you're a nurse, or maybe you've got experience in law. Whatever it is, don't just try and get a job at Twitter or Microsoft or something as a software developer. No, look for specifically some other company either in the industry that you're currently in or related, right? Either they're selling software, contracts to that industry. A lot of people do this in government positions, right? In fact, we have problems with this in the US where people who were in government positions become lobbyists. See, they're smart. They make a shit ton of money becoming lobbyists because they've got that experience. They've got that, or they go and they work for defense contractors, right? Maybe they're in the military, and then when they retire, some generals retire, they become consultants for defense contractors, right? They're using their brain. This is smart. You should do the same thing here. So if you're trying to get into the industry, the best way to do it is to use your experience that you've already got. Figure out, think outside the box, think of how you can leverage this. Think about what company would be just like, man, we've got someone who understands this or who has inside track into this industry that we're trying to get into or we're trying to sell to, and they have software development skills. Man, that's awesome. We could totally use that person. So think of it that way, and you can actually do better. You can utilize that experience that you had before instead of it being a detriment, right? Instead of you going into a job interview and be like, oh, yeah, I know, I was a veterinarian for 12 years, but now I had a revelation, I want to become a software developer. That's going to look bad. But if you were going into that same interview and you're applying for a company that develops software for veterinarians, now that's a huge asset, your 12 years of veterinarian experience. You see what I'm saying? You got to figure out how to work that so you set the frame so that you can use it as an advantage. All right, that's all I got for this question. If you like the shirt that I'm wearing, by the way, if you're just distracted, you're like, I can't even understand what he's saying, I'm just looking at that Trusted Process shirt, click me and you can get the shirt. You can see the details when you click the shirt. And if you like this video, if you want to get more videos, I do about 2 to 3 a day. Click that subscribe button below. If you're listening on the podcast, go to youtube.com/JSanmez or youtube.com/Simple Programmer, whatever you like, and sign up, subscribe, see the video. All right, I'll talk to you next time. Take care.